I've avoided talking about it like the plague, but it's about time that we have a sensible conversation how Brexit might affect health and safety in your business and as an industry as a whole. Let's get into the video.
The problem in safety isn't deviation, it's complexity.
Health and safety has gone mad.
Health and safety is trying to unpick having gone mad in the past.
There's no one solution and one problem. The problem is that we are looking for one solution.
Does the structure of the team allow them to flourish?
Feel safe enough to be uncomfortable.
The environment defines our behaviours.
People aren't the problem, they're the solution.
Rebranding safety, crushing the stereotype. Brought to you by Risk Fluent. What's up, people? Welcome back to Rebranding Safety. Rebranding Safety is a YouTube channel and podcast that does exactly what it says on the tin. We're here to rebrand health and safety. We're here to challenge those health safety gone mad practices. We're here to change the perception of health and safety. And we do that by providing free tips, tricks, how-to videos, loads of content on YouTube. We also do a podcast with in-depth conversations, sometimes just me ranting and raving, and sometimes we have some phenomenal people on as well. So if you're not listening to podcasts and you're new here, then go and check out the podcast. And if you're new to YouTube from the podcast, thank you for listening. And don't forget to hit subscribe down below and the bell so you never miss another episode. Whether you like it or whether you don't, it is happening. The horrible phrase that we've all had enough of, Brexit. Strong and stable. Let's get Brexit done. We've heard it all before and we'll probably hear it again for the next few years. But I've done a bit of research to try and give you some guidance, some non-bullshit, no agenda guidance. I'm past the vote now, if I'm honest. I don't give a shit what way people voted anymore. It's done, it's decided. Let's move on. So I've done some research, very unbiased research, as unbiased as I can be, on what's going to change, how it can affect you, and yeah, and we're going to go through that in this video. Can't even see it. It says Brexit, all right? It's a little bit different. It's a new studio, nearly finished. I'll maybe do a vlog tour or something at a later date when we run out of content. So today we're talking about Brexit. So this video is about health and safety and Brexit. It's my interpretation of the guidance, etc., my point of view, but there'll be no kind of political opinions. I'm not going to get into how much I think that Brexit is the biggest.
James!
So if you've watched all of my content, you'll know I'm not a lawyer, but let's just answer the question, try and keep this real simple as to why would it affect us in the first place, like legally. Well, basically how the kind of system works is the EU will kind of make an EU regulation. They would then send it to the member states, and in the UK, we would then debate about that and turn it into UK law. So in theory, they make the law, but it's not EU law, it's UK law for most of our stuff. Like we create a UK legislation. So for example, you've got things like the management of health and safety at work regs, you've got the 6-pack, you know, and all stuff like that. So all that kind of like, not derivatives, but they're kind of like evolutions of the EU regulations that we kind of chop and change and make it for us. Has the law changed in the current climate as it is now in 2020? Yes, the law has changed, but very minor. So we've basically changed it slightly to remove all kind of EU references, and we did that from the EU removal. No, I'm going to read it from the sheet so I get it right. The EU Withdrawal Act, and then we created 3 statutory tools, basically: chemicals, health and safety, and genetically modified organism contained use amendment, etc. EU exit regulations of 2019, health and safety amendment Northern Ireland EU exit regulations of 2018, and the health and safety amendment EU exit regulations of 2018. So 3 basically statutory tools. So as it stands, we won't enter a kind of lawless dystopian kind of world where we've removed all legislation and so-called red tape and we start sending children up chimneys again. That's not true, that's not going to happen, right? So we don't live in a lawless state, but it has slightly changed. Will the law change any further as we go on through this kind of process? The answer is probably yes. But to be honest, it probably would have changed anyway. The law kind of evolves and changes all the time, you know, but will, now that Brexit is done, or partly done, will the world be a better place? Will Nigel Farage... Oh, wait, sorry. As it stands, not much has changed. We're in what we're calling a transition period. Will things change at the end of the transition period? Well, potentially nobody knows, but it is likely yes. Law changes, it evolves. Look at Grenfell, things like Grenfell happen, it changes. Maybe this coronavirus stuff will make us change some kind of BCP, emergency planning legislation. We don't know. Change is inevitable, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. So you're not sure what to do, where can you get help from? Obviously the best place to get help from is Rebranding Safety. Goes without saying, so if you haven't already, hit subscribe. So see what I did there? Other actual real sources of information, gov.com, HSE site's really good. Within the HSE site, they've got like Brexit specific bits as well. So you can go on there, you can kind of get some advice of business basics, etc. And then there'll also be where Brexit may or may not affect it. There's normally a link there that says what to do during the Brexit transition process. But remember, currently, nothing has really changed. Bearing in mind though that most of the HSE guidance is based on a no-deal Brexit, which obviously is not happening now. The final and probably the most important piece of advice I think I could give you to deal with this, with Brexit and your business and managing the risk, is manage the risk, is understand what's going on in your workplace, understand the work, understand the risks, understand etc, etc, etc. All the things that are going on in your workplace, your staff, your people, work with them. The basis of health and safety is understanding what's going on in your workplace, managing risk, communicating with staff. That's really it. You know, we get into competence as well. Having competent people then, let's add that to that. So having competent people, communicating with those people, understanding what we want to do and how we do it and what the risks are within that. Really, that's it. That's all we're doing within our workplace. And all the legislation is all basically the same. Granted, if you're in some higher risk industries, those legislations are much more prescriptive. But currently, as it stands, the Health and Safety at Work Act is where they're going to get you for any criminal kind of convictions, and basically says, do a risk assessment and deal with the risk. So focus on having a good risk assessment. Stop panicking, stop waiting around to being told what to do, and just manage the risk that's in front of you. Manage what's in your workplace and get some shit done. This will make no difference whatsoever if you just manage your own risks. Oakley dokley, let's kind of end it there, this haphazard, kind of messy Brexit video, which kind of reminisces, you know, Brexit really, doesn't it? Let's end it there. What I want you to do is not to kind of plug my own content more, is go and listen to the two-part podcast we did with David McLean. We'll link it in the description below. Because there is a bit, I think it's in the second one, it is in the second one, it's in part 2. So if you want to just skip to part 2, then do. But honestly, basically what happened was, I was having a conversation with David before we pressed record, and we ended up talking about Brexit, etc. And I said, oh, are you worried about it being a small business owner, etc.? And he said, no, not really. Yeah, and he just the way he talks about it, talks about being in control of his own life, of his own business. You know, he makes a decision for his business, and if there's an obstacle in his way, he kind of just works his way around that obstacle. I think that's all what health and safety is. You know, I used to do mixed martial arts a long time ago, and before that I did kind of Chinese martial arts, and that was the same. You know, it was kind of like you got an obstacle in the way, and you just kind of have to move around it. They have to adapt. You know, Eric talks about adaptation and resilience in his Safety 2 work. That's Eric Honagel. All this stuff is about just taking control of what's in front of you, what's in your business, and managing those risks, acknowledging them, controlling them, and managing them. And that's it. You'll be able to withstand absolutely anything. Brexit, coronavirus, HSE imploding, the end of the world. Easy peasy, trust me. Okay peeps, that will do for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go and check out our podcast, go and check out the David McLean podcast as well. Rebranding Safety is here to change the perception of health and safety. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, drop us a comment below. Are you worried about Brexit? If you are, let us know why. If you're not, let me know why you're not. Help other people, you know, be like, I'm not worried because I'm in control. And then people will be like, oh, he's in control, then I'm gonna be in control, yeah! We can just start pumping each other up. I'll catch you next week, safe.